What up, peeps? We are back, and I wanted to break down an article that's currently available on operationsports.com that is titled "Something Unique That Would Set EA Sports College Football Apart." This is the question, and many people are weighing in, giving their opinions and thoughts on the forums regarding what are the features, what are the changes, different things that EA can implement to really set this title apart from its previous versions, and also set it apart, I would say, from Madden as well. We want a true college experience going into this next installment of college football. And I'm breaking down this article that was written by Becotte. The article really makes you think, and as the article states, there's a lot riding on this NCAA project. It's been many years since the release of any NCAA college football game. I would even go as far to say that NCAA 14 is not only beloved by many fans, but is still kept alive by the modding community today with updates to the rosters, jerseys, playoffs, so on and so forth. And that alone is just added pressure in hopes that EA can make a mark with this next installment. And as outlined in this article, we would like to see a focus on many things that have never really been a major focus in any past college football game from EA. So with that said, let's start with the synergy between coaches and the preparation. So what I'm getting out of this article and my thoughts pretty much are, let's put more of a focus on the coaches. College football is notorious for having really good programs, coaches, people that are building these programs to be powerhouses. So you have coaches that are elite, and then you have coaches who may not be very good. I mean, many of us will watch games and some of the play calling just isn't to our taste. And all this is obviously reflected on the record, whether you're a good or a bad coach, whether your program is successful or not. This article makes a good point emphasizing on having good coaching and preparation, which is huge in college football. Day in and day out, you want to stay sharp. This could be based off of the number of snaps each player takes in practice, depending on if they are on the first, second, or third team. And as noted in the article, give us the power to set up our team's preparations and basically let our decisions come with pros and cons. Let us make mistakes. For example, say there's a certain play type that you're not practicing enough. You're not getting enough reps in. So if we're not getting enough reps, then in the game or in a scrimmage, maybe even practice, so you have a freshman wide receiver coming in and he just starts running the wrong routes. You haven't practiced it enough. You haven't prepared. There's not enough repetition there. We may have focused on other things, got stronger there, but that particular route, especially for your new freshmen coming in, they're struggling. And that's what I mean by, let our decisions have pros and cons, just to build that realism, because this is college. That's going to happen. I mean, if preparation is not on point, it's definitely going to show up on the field during the game. A focus on preparation would be great and overall crucial to the overall team success. Now on to recruiting, and good lord, the recruiting process in college football is bananas. From commitments to decommitments, flips, transfer portal, it's like the Wild West right now. Recruiting is like the heart and soul of college football. So if we could make it feel that way in the game, that would be really dope. So all those scenarios, all the decommitments, commitments, if it could be implemented in a way to where it's really interactive, or in a way that's just really respectable, where we could see the pros and cons of what's going on in this recruiting process, that would be really dope. And this leads to another great point that was brought up, and this revolves around the coaching staff as a whole. Now, wouldn't it be cool if we could have all 10 coaches, all 10 slots visible, either on the field, and I'd even throw in the booth as well? What if we also had the ability to move our coaching personnel and you could see those changes? Maybe I want one of my defensive coordinators in the booth and assign another coach to signal call on the sidelines. I like to make those decisions and see that transition happening. Another good point is, what if coaches that are poor and are not very good coaches, what if their players never play to their ratings? So for example, this could be, say, overall team rating or individual player ratings, just thinking out loud. So say your quarterback is rated 90, but because of the poor coaching, the quarterback is only playing at a 78 overall level. That would be really interesting. I would also like to see a way for those coaches that are struggling to overall improve. Maybe they can procure another coaching role. Say they take another role and they're under a head coach that is rated, say, a 99, a really good coach, and the time spent under that coach adds a potential boost to the poor coach's rating. And maybe that coach can get up to a level, maybe he wasn't ready to be a head coach. That would be really dope. Also noted, we would love to see stubborn coaches. I mean, that we see this day in and day out in college as is. So coaches that do not make any adjustments, not at all, ground and pound all game. Right? They don't care. We're sticking with it. Just flat out stubborn, whether it's working or not. We also would like to see elite coaches, like coaches that are just, they can recruit the best, they game plan, always making adjustments, changing up formations, finding the weakness and exploiting it. I would also want to throw in, I like the thought of AI coaches being able to make the jump to and from the NFL. And this is something very similar that we see in real life today. There's some really good points brought up in this article. So, I mean, the list goes on. Another good point is coaches cards, which is another great idea, to be able to click and select a coach's card. For an example, Coach Hawkins has a reputation for developing pocket passing QBs very well. Coach Hawkins is not known as being great at adjusting in the game. Coach Hawkins won't win any recruiting awards. So you see both pros and cons here on the coaches cards, but it would be cool if those are just visible. These coaches carry whatever type of stats, descriptions, where it's convenient for us to see. And we prefer things not to get too repetitive, as in all coaches having the same descriptions in the same style they coach. I would like to see many unique combinations as possible. Another idea I really liked revolves around what could be how and when information is shared regarding your team's preparations. And there was an example. So say during the spring, you didn't have your team hitting or tackling as much. After your preparations are completed, instead of displaying, say, a negative effect, and I'll use a number like, now you have -50 in the tackling department because you did not prepare, you didn't hit, you didn't tackle in spring. You focused on other things. You focused on mainly just offense and just left out tackling and hitting, period. Instead of displaying that -50 up front prior to a game or scrimmage, let us find out on our own. Let us go out there and miss 10 to 25% of our tackles because we decided to prepare that way. We did not tackle, we did not hit. Keep this information on the back end so after these games or scrimmages, we look back and say, oh yeah, maybe we need to work on more tackling during our prep. We need to balance things out. We were terrible. We couldn't wrap up, and due to poor tackling, we could not stop the run and gave up big plays. I think that's really good. I love that idea. Other things that were mentioned and I think would be intriguing would be a spring game. Maybe having a spring game would be a nice bonus for your team as far as preparations. Also, custom off-season training, I think it could be a good opportunity to further grow your players and maybe even take a step forward in allowing your players to actually change positions. I mean, this is college football, so development is huge. I've seen running backs turn into linebackers, quarterbacks converted to wide receivers. This would also be a really nice addition to college football. And lastly, college football needs to feel like college football. I mean, down to the gameplay and especially the atmosphere. I know many of us as experienced campus legends, the update that they provided in Madden. To me, that did not feel like college football. I would definitely want them to avoid that by all costs and make the necessary changes to make this game feel, sound, look like college down to the T. We also need a Dynasty mode, nothing short of what we see in NCAA 14 without a doubt. And of course I'm using NCAA College Football 14 as a baseline, but with hopes of a lot more for sure. And that's it, peeps. There are so many great thoughts and ideas around EA's next installment to college football. Please be sure to go to Operation Sports and the forums. There are some really good discussions around this. I mean, we could stay on this topic for hours. I love college football and definitely want it to return in a big way. There's so much potential for this game to be great. Let us know your thoughts and ideas in the comments. What can improve the next installment of EA's college football? Give us some thoughts, give us some ideas. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and we will be back with more sports gaming news. All right, peeps, you know what it is. Until next time, yeah.